The knocking on the door woke Christiana up from her trance. Again, her bed was soaked with salty waters that her body produced whenever she had a nightmare. It was the same one she had had for years. The therapists and counselors could not help her, and she had lost all hope. The knocking grew louder and she groaned, put on a silky black nightgown, and moved to open the door. Hold your horses, she screamed. As soon as she turned the doorknob, her best friend Rita came rushing into the room. Where the hell have you been? Oh, good morning, Rita. Come on in, Christina said sarcastically and closed the door. You haven't answered my question, Rita continued. I have been in my house, okay? Why are you even here? Christina asked. Because we had been looking all over for you. We tried calling on the phone, but you didn't pick up. Hold on. Who is we? Christina cut Rita off. I and Joshua. You know, the boyfriend you haven't been speaking to for a while now, Rita answered. Christina sighed as she walked to the kitchen. She thought someone important was searching for her. Little did she know that it was a thing she called her boyfriend. Did you just sigh? Rita asked and followed her to the kitchen. Christiana said nothing, ignoring her silly questions. Christiana, I asked you a question, Rita repeated. And I'm not one to answer silly questions or give obvious answers. Besides, why is that idiot looking for me? I thought I told him to jump off a bridge and die. She took a sip of her orange juice with a poker face on. Christy, why would you say a thing like that? Because I want it to happen. She dragged the response. What did this guy do to you? Rita inquired. The best question would be, what did that guy not do to me? Christiana responded. Stop answering my question with another question, Rita said. He cheated on me, Rita, and then he had the nerve to make it seem like it is my fault. After everything have been through because of that guy, you would think he would have the decency to at least own up to his mistake. But no, everything has to be my fault. I cannot believe this. I always thought he was perfect, Rita said. Christiana scoffed. Believe me, there is no perfect guy out there, and if there was, Joshua is far from being one. You don't say. But why would he blame you for it? Rita wanted to know. It was difficult to say, but Rita was Christiana's best friend. One way or the other, she would find out about it. It had something to do with my mom, Christiana started. The air in the room went cold. Rita knew that her friend never liked talking about her mother. People always said we should not speak ill of the dead, but for Christiana, her belief is that the dead should not even be discussed at all. But maybe if she did discuss it, she thought, she wouldn't have had such terrible nightmares about the day her mother died. Ajoke, Christiana's mother, was driving her to a dance class she had recently signed up for. She believed that the class would help her deal with the stress that was slowly accumulating in her life. And before she knew it, they were arguing about something. Christiana couldn't even remember what. At first, Christy didn't think too much about it because they always fought. At least, they did since her mother left her father. It would have made sense if she had a plan. Christiana would have even been okay with it if she had a man. But she had nothing. She just woke up one morning and left. And worst of all, she took Christiana with her. They had no money and no place to live. And her mother kept repeating over and over again that they were going to be okay. Christiana never believed her, and they were never okay. Her mother worked two jobs to take care of herself and her daughter, and somehow she always blamed the daughter for the struggles, as if she was the one who told her to leave her loving husband. She must have kept their location a secret from her husband because he never showed up. And when Christiana went to their former house, he had relocated, something Chrissy was certain her mother also had a hand in. So, they never got along, just always pretended to. But Chrissy never wished death upon her. She wasn't looking at the road, neither was Christiana. They were too busy shouting at each other to notice the truck that was coming. too busy to notice that the brake had failed. And when they did notice, it was too late. And her mother's inside had been cut open by sharp pieces of glass and objects. Her eyes were wide open, but no life was in them. Christiana had lived with the guilt of killing her mother and driving her father away for years, and it always found a way to affect her relationship with people. The same thing happened with Joshua. The dreams never stopped coming, but far be it from her to accept the truth and admit to her fault in this mess. Do you want to talk about it? Rita asked calmly. Christiana was about to answer when something on the television caught their attention, and she took the remote control to turn on the volume. Breaking news, the TV presenter said. We interrupt this program to inform the locals of a strange cab that has been carrying people to where they need to be and not where they want to be. This cab is known to come in different colors and it never repeats the same color. But we want to inform the locals that this mysterious cab driver may as well be a serial killer. If you find yourself in this cab, please call the following numbers. The numbers were displayed on the screen. Christiana turned off the television before the woman could say another word. She had grown tired of hearing bad news all the time. I should get going. I'm kinda running late for work, Rita said, letting their discussion lie. Yeah, I'll take my bath and leave as well, said Christiana. Okay, meet up then. Have a nice day. Rita stood. That sounds good. Her friend walked out to the door and closed the door behind her. It took an hour for Christiana to get ready for work. She didn't particularly love her job, and she didn't hate it as well. The day went on smoothly as she had expected it to, and that was the problem. Nothing ever happened at work, nothing exactly at the least. When she closed for the day, Christiana took a stroll down the busy road of Lagos, and her heart didn't fret at the hooligans she saw on the road. If anything, a part of her wished they would take her. Maybe that would rid her of the guilt she was feeling. After she had gotten tired of walking, she waved a cab over and got into it. The cab was quiet, and the cab driver didn't ask where she wanted to go. Christiana was grateful that this man didn't want to talk. All he had to do was listen. So she gave him the address of her home and he drove slowly. She paid no mind to the road as she was busy scrolling through her phone, looking for anything that may catch her interest, when suddenly the cab drove into a pothole. Pothole? The road to her house didn't have potholes, and that was when she became alert. She dropped the phone and looked outside the window. Somehow she had gotten into the remote part of Lagos, but she was unsure where. Hey! Hey! Christiana shouted at the driver, but he never stopped driving. Hey! Let me out of here! She screamed at him, but still he didn't budge. Her hand went to the door handle, and just then, the doors locked themselves. This was when fear crept into her heart. Christiana felt chills run down her spine. Please, please, let me out. I don't have any money. I don't have any family. I have no one who will be able to pay my ransom fee. Please let me out, she pleaded with him still. But he said nothing. Christiana tried to wind down the window glass and scream out, but even that didn't work. She looked out the window to see if she could signal anybody to help her, but still nothing worked. It seemed like the people couldn't even see the car. They were walking right past the car on every side. The people were just going about their normal business like a 26-year-old girl was not just about to be kidnapped. She remembered her phone and quickly picked it up from the floor where it fell earlier. She hastily dialed Rita's number, but to her greatest surprise, it didn't go through. Don't bother with it. Nothing you do right now is going to work. So just sit back and enjoy the ride. It was the voice of the man, the cab driver. A few minutes later, the car pulled up in front of an uncompleted building, and suddenly the doors opened. Get out, the voice ordered, and Christiana got out quietly. Go in there, the man continued, but didn't come out of the car. And as soon as Christiana was out of the car and had taken her things out, the car doors locked. She walked shakily into the building the man had ordered her to go into. Immediately after she got inside, She felt chills down her spine and goosebumps on her skin. She took slow, small steps up the stairs, being careful to not trip on anything. A voice made her freeze when she reached the top of the building. "Prissy," the woman said softly. Only her mother called her that. Christina turned around slowly, and there she was, standing in a white gown. "Hey, baby," she said with a smile on her face, and a tear dropped from Christy's eye. She wasn't scared anymore. She was just happy. "Mom?" She breathed out the word. "How are you?" her mother asked. Christiana didn't know if she was real or not, but she ran to her. All she wanted was to wrap her in her hands. But when she got close, she couldn't touch her. "Mom, why can't I touch you? Are you not real?" "I am real, but you can't touch a dead person now, can you?" "Baby, I don't have much time. I sent our messenger to get you so that I can clarify some things for you. It's not your fault that I'm dead. It's my fault. I handled the situation poorly." "Mom, what are you talking about?" "Okay, your father was not a good man. I saw him several times in your bedroom touching himself. The first time I saw it, I took it as a dream. Or maybe he was sleepwalking. But then it happened every night. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't know if he had taken advantage of you before, but I took you out of that house for fear he could. That's why I couldn't tell him where we were going. I didn't want him to find us and do terrible things to you. And that was a mistake on my part. Maybe if I had asked him about it, if we had spoken like adults, we would have still been a family. And for that, I'm sorry, darling. I really am." "Mom," Christy said with a rasped breath, "I love you so much. And don't blame you for my death," she continued. "I don't blame you for anything. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel the joy that you gave to me. Promise me you will stop beating yourself up about this." "I promise, Mom." Christina couldn't stop the tears from falling. Her mother reached out her hand and touched her face. Her hand felt soft and it was exactly what she needed. "I love you, darling. I love you so much," her mother said. "I love you too, Mom," Christina responded and closed her eyes to soak in the feel of her mother's hand on her face. When she opened her eyes, her mother was gone. Christina sat on the floor and wept. She wept for hours. She was letting go of the guilt and grief that she had carried around for so many years. She was letting her tears fall, and it felt good. Christina could not say how, but she got back to her bed. And for the first time since her mother died, she had a peaceful night's sleep without any nightmares.